Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are we doing? Okay. Short, quick story, a funny story, but for the past couple of days, past week, I've been running around my house, kind of practicing. I wanted to make this as interesting as possible. I know a lot of people go to speaker meetings, and I know what they usually expect, but I can tell you right now, this is not going to be anything you expected. It's funny because I've been sitting outside, and I've been smoking a cigarette, and I do talk to myself. I will be the first to admit it. And I was sitting out there practicing my speech and, making all my hand gestures. And one of my roommates stuck his head out the door and asked me if I needed to be drug tested. And I thought it was kind of funny, but I told him I'm just practicing because I wanted to make sure that I got a message across. When people get up in their speaker meetings and they talk about their life story, well, guess what? I'm not going to bore you with mine. I can give you the short synopsis. I was an addict for 2 years, turned a one-night experiment into a 2-year binge. The lovely lady I nicknamed Earthquake Carrie had a lot to do with it, but I will not blame her because I'm not going to be looking for a scapegoat. No one put the pipe in my hand, no one made me take drugs, no one made me do anything. It was all a choice. And I made the choice to do drugs that night, so you could almost say I made the choice to ruin my own life. Nobody did it for me. Just like I made a choice to come to these rooms. I looked for a little inspiration. Now, you guys are going to have to follow me here for a second because you're probably going to think I'm a little crazy when I start this, but follow me. There is a point, I promise. I went to on YouTube and I watched a speech. He's a gentleman I knew when I was a little kid. His name is Jimmy Valvano. He gave a speech at an ESPY award show. It's a sports award show on ESPN. Now, this man was dying of cancer. It's a cold, hard fact. Powerless over the fact that he has cancer and he's dying. Now, here's where the correlation starts. You get it? We already started with the word powerless. You figure cancer is an incurable disease. Well, so is addiction. It's an incurable disease. But with both, we have the tools to deal with it. You have the tools to deal with cancer. We have the tools to deal with our addiction. It's a program called Narcotics Anonymous, and it works. I will be the first to admit I am not the brightest bulb in the box, but I'm getting it. And if I can get it, I'll tell you right now, anybody can get it. I looked at it this way. There's a choice that we made. It's one that whether we like to admit it or not, we all chose to make a single choice. And it's the correlation with the speech, because Jimmy Valvano, even though he was dying, still chose to fight until his last dying breath. And now whether anybody knows it or not, but each of you sitting in this chair right now, you did the same thing. You chose to fight. Because see, there's a choice. You can fight, or you can die. Jails, institutions, and death, folks, I don't like any of the three. Okay? They all sound horrible to me. So you can fight the disease, or you can just sit back and die. And each and every one of us sitting in this room made the conscious choice to fight. That's why we're here. See, we're powerless over this disease we call addiction. Okay? That P word, it keeps popping up no matter what you do. I listen to people share in meetings all the time, and it seems to me that this word powerless just keeps popping up. Well, we all are. If we weren't powerless over this, we wouldn't be sitting in these chairs right now. Because I'll bet you each and every one of you could have probably thought of something better to do than to come here and watch me ramble on, right? So listen, we're powerless. We can't do this alone. That's why you're sitting in that chair. That's why I'm in this chair. I got 24 days till I hit 18 months. Okay? 24 days. That gray key tag. We say duct tape your ass to the chair. And you don't have to duct tape my ass to the chair because I'm here 7 nights a week. 2 meetings a night sometimes if I can get to one. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm here because, as my sponsor said, I'm working the program. Maybe a little slow, sometimes maybe a little too fast, maybe sometimes I don't get it, but I'm still here and I'm still learning. You see, the steps, that lovely step book we have. Step 1 tells us we're powerless. Our lives are unmanageable. Well, I'll tell you, as an addict, mine was very unmanageable. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Okay, it's all in step 1. Okay, what does it mean to me? I'll tell you. Honesty is because I'm honest with myself. I know I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest person in the world. So I know I've still got a lot to learn. So I have to be honest with myself to tell myself that even though I may be stubborn sometimes, and I may think I know it all, I don't know anything. I learn each and every meeting. You know, when we talk about, all right, choosing to fight or choosing to live. Well, there's an addict in here who I hope he doesn't mind me quoting him, but you know what? I choose to live. Because life as an addict is horrible. Life as a clean and sober person is absolutely fantastic. Okay? If I was still an addict, I don't think I'd be looking forward to tomorrow, looking forward to Thursday, Friday. Oh no. The only thing I would have been looking forward to is the next minute when I'm getting my next drug so I can get high. Now I look forward to each and every day. Okay? We go even further into the steps. Okay? A power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Well, on a side note, there isn't a power great in this world that can restore me to sanity. I can tell you that right now. But I take what the book gives me, and I got with my higher power. Because my higher power is the one that's going to take me down the roadmap. When I turned on my GPS, okay, I'm looking at a roadmap, but I still really don't know where I'm going. But in step 2 and 3, you get with your higher power, and your higher power is going to lead you down that roadmap. It's going to lead you to where you need to be. And where we need to be is where we're sitting right now, clean and sober. Okay? We're not living out on the edge anymore. We've got our families back in our lives. Okay? I've got 2 of the greatest people in my entire life. Actually, more than 2. But these 2 deserve a little special acknowledgement. Because the short little story is these 2 people were nothing but customers in the restaurant that I used to work at. And sooner or later, as their daughter says, I infiltrated the family. And now, I am one of the family. I call them Mama and Pops. Now, they're not the blood family, but they're still family, because guess what? They took time out of their busy schedule to be here on this important night for me. That's all that matters. Fellowship, family. We get it all back once we're clean. I mean, keep going down further in the steps. You want to talk about character defects? I was left a little note up here that says not too long, please. Or if you want to talk about my character defects, we're going to be here for a long time. But I'm working on it. Because that's what the book, that's what the program tells me I am supposed to do. That's what the book and the program tells you you're supposed to do. Because we're all not perfect. If we were perfect, once again, we would be sitting in these chairs right now. Would we think we knew it all? I don't have to come to a speaker meeting and hear some guy speak. I know everything. I've read the book. I know all the steps. I've done them. So what? He's going to speak. He's going to ramble on for a half hour, 40 minutes. Man, don't worry about it. But you know what? You all came tonight, didn't you? Because a meeting is where we need to be. That's why I'm here 7 nights a week. Okay? Now, step 4. One of my favorites. Fearless moral inventory of yourselves. Get out the shovel, folks, and start digging. Because you're going to have to dust off them skeletons that are hiding in your closet. You're going to have to go in your backyard, start digging up some bones. Because there's a lot of stuff as an addict that we hid, that we don't even want to know is there. But you know what the book and the program tells us we got to do? We got to go find it. We got to stare it in the face. You know, I made an analogy. It's like taking a shower. And for the ladies here, you take a shower, you fog up the mirror when you take a hot shower. Well, in order to see what's looking back at you, so you can do your hair and your makeup, and you guys can get yourself all purdied up, well, you got to wipe the fog off the mirror. Well, fearless moral inventory, you better wipe that fog off the mirror, because you're going to have to see what's staring back at you. Now, in my addiction, I got dressed in the other room. I did not want to see what was staring back at me in the mirror. And Mama and Pops will tell you, it was pretty ugly. Okay? It was pretty ugly. But here I am. I've stared that moral inventory in the face. I've taken my moral inventory. I know all my defects. I am working on them. Because why? Because my higher power stands right behind me. Because you know what? At 13 months, okay, I was never a church-going person, but at 13 months I went to my church. Even 13 months clean, still broken as anybody. And I knelt in front of the stage at my church, bawling like a baby. Because somebody told me, hey, if you're going to do this program, you're going to need to get with your higher power. Now, I'm looking at him going, well, higher power, what's higher power? What does that mean? Well, you know what that means? That means a power greater than yourself is the one that's going to help you. See, because a power greater than yourself is the greatest handyman there will ever be. And he's the one that can fix anything that's broken. So I did it. I followed what the book told me to do. That's what the book says. Well, guess what? Then that's what I'm doing. because that's what the program tells me. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. You see? Because as you work the program and you get further into it, you always remember a relapse is that close. You know, they say the devil's out there doing push-ups because he's waiting for the weak person to come out and put his arm around your shoulder. He wants to tell you, let's go for a walk. But you know what? We have fellowship. Because if you fall in a hole, look around you in this room right now. There's 30, 40 people that are going to stick their hand down that hole and they're going to pull you out of that hole. You fall off the horse, there's 30, 40 people in this room that are going to pick you up, put you back on that horse, and send you back on your way. Because that's what fellowship is. It's what it's all about. Getting a sponsor. I got the greatest one in the world. This man has had my back, and I know I drive him crazy. And I know he'll admit it. And he'll be the first to tell you that it's right. There is a power greater than this world that can restore me to sanity. But he sticks by me because I did a little research before I went out and just chose somebody out of the blue. I didn't just see, somebody in the room and go, hey, okay, you can be my sponsor, or why not? You look like a good person. No. When I walked into these meetings, I sat in that corner back there because I wanted to observe. I wanted to see what this was all about. Somebody said, go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I said, well, do I got to sit in a room with a bunch of addicts and listen to some sob stories? Why do I want to do that? And you know why I want to do that? Because that's what that's what the program tells us to do. Open-mindedness and willingness. Well, the open-mindedness part comes when you sit in these rooms and listen. Because somebody out here might be sharing something that I might need to hear. Something that is going to keep me from taking a step out that door and relapsing. Okay? There are people in this room that I love when they share. In fact, I come to meetings sometimes and I hope they raise their hands and I hope they share. Because I get to listen to the knowledge of people that are a lot cleaner than I am. Because again, I don't know nothing. I'm still a newcomer, I think, even at 18 months clean almost. I still got lots and lots and lots to learn. Okay? I mean, we get to some of the better steps. Okay? Making amends. Elton John said it best. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. And it really is hard to say you're sorry. Because you got to stare these people in the face, people you've stolen from, people you've done wrong, people you've harmed. And you got to say, I'm sorry. And then go back to step one. And remember that you're powerless over whether they accept your apology or not. You can make amends, because that's what the book tells you to do. But whether they accept it or not, well, guess what? That's not your choice. That's their choice. Just know in your heart, you did the right thing because you did what the program tells you to do. You made amends. You went and said, I'm sorry. And I'll tell you, I'm stubborn. I'm as stubborn as a mule. I hate admitting I'm wrong. I hate saying I'm sorry. But I did it. Because my family, my biggest detractors when I was in addiction, well, guess what? They're now my biggest supporters. Okay? My mother has Parkinson's disease. I don't know how much longer she's going to be here on this planet. Okay? I mean, now I'm talking about my real mother. Okay? But now, we're back to where we were years before my addiction. We're back to being best friends. Do you want to know why? Because I did what the book told me to do. And I made amends. And I told her, you know what? That wasn't me. I don't know who that was, but for 2 years, that wasn't your son, Dominic. Dominic is standing right here, right now. First day I ever got on the phone with my mom, I called her after church and told her that, hey, Mom, I'm calling you, just got out of church, whatever. And then I heard silence on the phone. And I said a prayer hoping I didn't just give her a heart attack. Because me, coming out of church, and no, the statues did not bleed. But she's happy. And yes, I'm going to make a confession to everybody right now that still to this day I tell my mother a little white lie on occasion. Because I may be having a bad day, I may be having a rough time for a couple of days. But I still tell her that everything is fantastic. And why? And you may think it's wrong, but in my situation with my mother, I have to keep her on the even keel. Because you see, I have to keep her psyche at a certain level. Because she's got enough stress in her life. She doesn't need to be stressing over me anymore. I finally need to be stressing over her. For everything that this lady has ever done for me, it's about time I worry about you. You don't worry about me. And And she loves it when I pick up the